Howdy there folks, it's Geist, and in today's video we're going to be talking about the bow buff that just dropped today. This is a very exciting day because we've effectively gone back to the way things used to be in a lot of ways, and I'm going to explain why. So just to start off, the buff that happened today was a buff to precision bows, and specifically to their body damage. It's a 10% buff, roughly, it's a little bit more than that, to just exclusively their body damage, so the precision damage stayed exactly the same. Some of the exotics were affected, but some of them were not, which we're about to get into now. So, at base, all precision bows will now be able to one head, one body. And that's on all resiliences, so all the way up to 10. Now, they do have to both be perfectly drawn shots, so be aware of that. That being said, hunters with Oathkeepers, you guys will have a little bit of a leg up, just because you won't have to worry about that, obviously, because you will always have it perfectly drawn. But for everybody else, one head, one body, as long as you perfectly draw both of them. Now, Raconteur specifically is a little bit different than the other legendaries, because it is the only one that has this perk, Gut Shot Straight. And that will allow you to two-body. But you have to proc Gut Shot both times. The way that you proc Gut Shot is by making sure that you are ADS whenever the arrow lands. It doesn't work to just kind of ADS and shoot. You have to still be holding the ADS button as the arrow is hitting them. So sometimes you just have to do, like, hold it by an extra half second, but it makes it a lot more consistent. And only one of those has to be perfectly drawn. Now, Accrued Redemption is pretty much exactly the same. The only major difference with it is that it used to be you could double body with Accrued Redemption, but in order to do so, you had to get all three trimmers to hit them. Now, you can double body and they will die on the second trimmer, which is a little bit better because not a lot of people are going to stand in all three of the trimmers, obviously. Now, as before, Accrued Redemption also will one head, one body, regardless of whether you underdraw or overdraw, as long as you don't just completely limp it and do very little damage. Although one interesting thing to note is that now, with kinetic trimmers, you can happily one head and do a partial draw on the second one. It's a little bit harder on precision bows just because they have a bit of a threshold, but if you know what I'm talking about, yeah, it's right as you're about to start drawing it fully. They'll start to cock their arm back, and then you hit that, and you'll get not quite full damage, not quite half. It's sort of a weird percentage that I don't really get, but whatever the case, because of that and the trimmers, it will kill, and usually on the first trimmer. Unless, of course, you really underdraw it, in which case you're probably going to need two or possibly even all three trimmers. But it's definitely the most consistent of the one head, one bodies, just because it's the same no matter what. Now, Wishkeeper is pretty much exactly the same. It's just a precision. Now, yeah, it's got that extra bit of flavor to it. You can eventually build up to the hipfire shots that suspend people and all that fancy stuff. But in a Crucible setting, I don't really recommend this much anyways. I just thought I would showcase it since, as far as the bows go, it's pretty much the only one of our exotic bows that got the buff, and that you can noticeably tell the difference. When you do have somebody suspended, it does like 180 something damage, so it does do a hefty amount of damage to somebody, so that is worth noting. If, you know, maybe you have like weaker targets that you suspended or something like that. Now, Trinity Ghoul is a really interesting one. The body shot damage on Trinity Ghoul went up by 3 for each tick. So you know it does like 3 ticks. I think it used to do 32 or 33, something like that, and now it's 35 per tick. And the interesting thing about it, as you just saw there, is that Trinity can now also double body once it gets that first arrow going. Once you get the lightning arrows going, which is effectively just like a permanent rampage, and that's kind of what it's acting like, you can just double body after that. So you'll have to get the first initial head and body kill, but after that you can run around double bodying everybody, with the added benefit of it having chain lightning that's firing off all the time. Now, as you just saw there, you can also even kill someone in one single shot to the body. If two people happen to be standing close enough together, the lightning will chain off of one person and jump to the other person, and immediately kill the one that you shot first. And that's pretty daggum cool. I don't remember if this was the case before. I didn't really dabble a lot with Trinity. I've honestly kind of always dismissed it in a PvP setting, but I'm pretty sure that this is new. I don't recall it being so good at chaining lightning and then just murdering somebody with only needing 2 people next to each other. Maybe I'm wrong. Somebody that uses Trinity more than me can correct me on that. But either way, I will say that this one is one to keep your eye on. And if you're a fan of Trinity and you like the aesthetic of it, by all means use it, because it is great now. And now we come to the crux of bows. The one that got most of these nerfed, at least one of the biggest reasons so. Probably the most hated primary in the game, Lam Monarch. Now, it used to be Lam Monarch would 1 crit, 1 body, only like 5 resilience or below or something like that. I don't actually remember. It might have been 5 or 6. But now, as you can see, it's doing it with 10 resilience. Now, it used to do it with 9 resilience as of like Monday. There was like a weird stealth buff, and I talked about this previously, where it was doing a 1 crit, 1 body on 9 resilience and below. And we were like, hey, what the heck? That definitely wasn't like that before. This was definitely a change. This was done under the hood. Well, it kind of feels like this is what they wanted all along. They wanted it to 1 head, 1 body, all resiliences. And I guess that they just fixed a little bit of rounding that made it do so, because previously they were surviving with like a sliver. Now, this kind of is what it is. I know this is a hated bow, and this isn't really going to help the situation, but simultaneously just remember, it is probably the slowest killing bow now in order to get that 1 crit, 1 body. Now, if you get 2 headshots, it's basically just a lightweight at that point. You don't even really need the poison. So if you're getting all headshots, it's going to act just like any other lightweight, and it's really hardly any different. But if you're going for the 1 head, 1 body on all resiliences now, it takes a little bit of a delay. There's like a solid half second there where the poison has to actually kill somebody. And, you know, double body, not going to kill, as I just demonstrated there. But that gives people plenty of time to pop a rift, throw down some healing, any number of things that are going to stop Lam Monarch from actually getting a kill. And as far as trading with people, I mean, you may trade with people, but it's almost guaranteeing that they're going to have a good chance to kill you, because they're going to have a ton of time to just blast you while you're waiting for that poison to take them down. So if you're going to use it, tag them twice, 1 head, 1 body, and then just go duck into cover, because otherwise the poison is not going to kill fast enough before they're going to kill you too. Now, overall, I think that currently Raconteur is probably the best pick for most of you, with a bit of a caveat. If you're able to adjust to the different muscle memory that's literally the reverse of how you would use just about any other bow, then it's a great one because it's the most consistent. It's basically pre-nerf in more ways than one. Let me show you this right quick. And fully drawn body shot, melee. We have not had that since well before the bow nerf, since all the major health changes. There has not been a bow that was able to body shot melee since then. And it's really, really cool that we can do that again. So this is basically a pre-nerf bow. It's probably the one that I'm going to try to get the hang of again. It's been a minute since I've messed with Gutshot, so I really got to work on my muscle memory all over again. I would say that's probably my overall pick. However, I am going to be doing a gigantic, another definitive bow guide soon. It's sort of like a volume 2 to the one I made a while back. Obviously, a lot of things are different, so it's going to be a big updated guide, and I'm definitely going to fixate a good bit on Raconteur, because I think it's one of the top picks right now. After that, I would say go with Accrued Redemption. Then, unfortunately, probably Lam Monarch, since it got buffed, even though they said it wasn't going to. And after that, it's kind of a toss-up. Most precisions are good to use. Lightweights, unfortunately, are still 2 headshots. I think they need to walk back the AA nerf on that just a little bit and make it so they're a little bit stickier to compensate. But either way, for now, this is more than enough for me. I'm happy. It feels like in some ways we're almost back to what we were before, and I've been having a blast. I hope you guys are going to have a lot of fun with this. I was super excited to talk about this. Some of you may already know this, but it doesn't matter. I want to get the word out there. Bows feel so much better right now, and I hope that they stay exactly like this. Maybe a few more small tweaks, but I want them to stay like this, rather than us keep going back and forth or climb a little too high and they get hit with another heavy-handed nerf. But either way, folks, thanks for watching, and I hope you have a wonderful evening.